Hey guys, this is Aziz and it is Tech Time. Today we're going to do a tutorial on C++ and we're going to do something similar to this, which is exactly it. We're going to take an input, which is a length, a number, and then we're going to display it to the user. We're going to tell them what they inputted and what they inputted in a different kind of thing, which is the input will be centimeters, and we will tell them, okay, this is also this number in meters. We will do area of square for them, area of a circle, difference between the two of them, cube, volume round down and round up. We will round, which are functions, so you might want to use those in certain kind of calculations. So let's go ahead and start. I will be uploading this to the file where I will be uploading the video. So if you need to work on it on your own, you can just go ahead and work on it. So let's go ahead and close it, and let's go to start our tutorial. Let's go ahead and go to Microsoft Visual Studio. Alright, let's go ahead and make a new project, empty project. Let's name it Machine Problem 1. Okay, and let's go ahead and right click on resource files, add new item. Okay, alright, so let's go ahead and make a C++ file and let's name it main. Okay, now that we have main, let's go ahead and create our skeleton. We will need the IO stream library for now at least, and let's go ahead and use using namespace std, and let's do void main, and let's do system pause, and that's it. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is display our name, and let me open that file for you. Here it is. This is the output. So we will do geometry formulas by and the name. So let's go ahead and do that. Cout geometry formulas by Aziz, and let's go ahead and put an end line right there. Remember, this is also an end line aside from the normal one, which is this. We will put both of them just to remind you of that. So let's go ahead and continue with the rest of it. Now enter one floating point number for length. So let's go ahead and ask the user to input cout please input one number and in centimeters. Let's just do that and put colons, and then let's end it right there. So we need to input a floating number. A floating number is just because we need to do maybe 1.5 instead of just 1, and floats can do that, yet use less memory than doubles. So let's go ahead and do float, and let's name it cm for centimeters equals 0.0. Let's go ahead and do semicolon. Let's go ahead and do cn cm. So now we will input the centimeters. What do we have to do next? Now the number you entered is this number, so we need to display the number or in meters. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's do cout. Let's put two end lines first, so that when we get the input right in here, we put two end lines, and then we tell them what they entered. The number you entered is, and we do centimeters to display centimeters, and we will do cm right by it, and we will do something like this. To do it in meters, we have to divide by 1,000. So we're going to display that by 1,000. So there is a way to do it differently in the cout if you have it going too long, which is let's do open parenthesis first, and we can do it right here, open parenthesis, and let's do cm divided by 1,000, and let's close the parenthesis, and let's put two end lines right here. Okay, you can also put like an enter right here. See that right here? You can put enter space, and then this would be fine as long as there is no semicolon in here. You don't need to do another cout right in here. You can just take this off, and it would act as if it's a whole line, as if you had the same thing as this. So it's just for formatting purposes. You can do this. I'm just giving you a choice in whatever you want to do. So let's go ahead and run our code and see what happens. Let's go ahead and do Control F5, or go to debug, start without debugging, and let's see what we have. So now we have geometry formulas by the name, and then please input one number in centimeters. So let's go ahead and input 5.1, and it would do the number you entered is 5.1 centimeters and 0.0051 in meters. Let's go ahead and press enter. So let's go ahead and continue the code. And if I had made any mistake, please forgive me on that one. I'm just giving you a way of introducing yourself to doing whatever you want. So let's go ahead and see whatever is in here. The number you entered, we did that already. Area of square is this. So let's go ahead and make the area of square. For area of square, the instructions say that we can do length times width, which is centimeter times centimeter, so we're gonna just do that. So let's actually make sure that we put m in here. Alright, just to display that this is in meters. So let's go ahead and do cout, and what does it say? Area of square. So area of square, and we will display the area of square. To do that, we can do cm times cm, and let's go ahead and continue with that. Is there anything else that we need to display? Nope. And we can just display square m, and let's put an end line at the end. So now this will display the square meters, so let's go ahead and do that. Now we will input 100, and here we go. 100 centimeters is saying it's 1 meter, so area of square is 1000 square meters. Let's go ahead and press enter. I just remembered that right in here, centimeters is divided by 100, not 1000. That is wrong. And for the centimeters, square meters, I'm not sure which one is which, but we can do it in meters. So instead of doing centimeter divided by 100, we can instead do it in meters, but we'd have to do meter equals to this and go on. But I'm not gonna go ahead and do that. I'm just gonna let it sit like that. Just go ahead and press Control F5, and there's 100, 1 meter right here, and area of square is 10,000 square meters. It's centimeters, but we can go ahead and actually do parentheses, and this is a good way to show an example. If you want to do that, do parentheses and divide by 100. This what it would do. Always remember that the way the math is done by the calculator and by logic, you should do parentheses, and please excuse my dear aunt Sally, I think. So parentheses, and e stands for to the power of, and so on. So we will do this first, and then we divide by 100, and let's go ahead and see it. So 100 square meters. Let's go ahead and close it, and let's put a space right between the 100 and this. Okay, so now let's continue. Press enter, and let's see what do they want from us. Now they want area of a circle. Now area of a circle is pi times radius squared. The radius is half of the length, so we're going to do half length and make that an r, and we're going to put it squared, and pi is assumed to be 3.14159, so it's going to do that. So in here we're going to make a float, so put a comma and let's call it r equal 0.0, and let's do f. I forgot to do that. That uses less memory, so let's go ahead and make sure of that. And now we're going to do r equal cm divided by 2. Now we have r, so let's do cout area of square, area of a circle actually, is equal to pi 3.14159 times r times r times r, and let's go ahead and continue square meter and end line right in here, and we can divide all that by a 100 to make sure that it's by meters. Divide by 100. Okay, now this will work, but what if you want to do the to the power of function? Now this is a different function you're gonna have to use, which is, I believe, from a different library. So let's go ahead and use that function. The function name is pow. We can do pow right here, open the parentheses, and we have 6 of them. See this arrows? And 1 of 6. There are 6 functions written for us. We can go and see double and int, float and float, a float and an int. So we're going to do a float and an int. We don't have to do this. We can just go ahead and write cm, or in this case r, to the power comma and then 2, and it would already know that it's a float and it's an int. Let's go ahead and display that actually, and let's see what comes up with this different than this. And let's do divide by 100. Let's go and see that in here, end line, debug, start without debugging. Alright, so let's go ahead and enter 100. Now the number you entered is 100 centimeters, which is 1 meter. Area of square 100 square meters. Area of a circle 78 point all this number square meters, and 25. It's obviously different because this is the power of and this is r times r. So let's go ahead and close it. And we didn't do 3.145, so if we do that times all this, it will work out the same way. So let's go ahead and do copy this and put it right here, and now let's take this off. Alright, so now it will do pi times pow of this divided by 100. So now let's go ahead and try run it, and control F5, and let's do 100.5, let's say. I want to make sure that this function right here, area of a circle, would give me a points this number. I don't want it to give me just an integer when I'm using the pow function. Good enough that the pow is used in the IO stream, so that makes it much easier. But the next functions that we're going to use, which is to upper ceiling and floor, to round up or round down, we're going to have to use a different library. So let's go ahead and press enter, and let's go ahead and see what else do we need to do. Now the difference is this, the difference between the square and the circle. So we will do square minus circle. So to do that, we have to have these outputs, but we can't have them, and we can't just write them, this one and this one. So we can just do variables right in here, which are floats, and we can do square of area of square, area of square, and equal to 0.0f, and then we can do area of circle, and we can do equal 0.0f, and let's do semicolon. Now we have 2 of them. To do this one, now we can do this. Not right in here actually, it would be right in here. We can do area of square is equal to this calculation right here, and put a semicolon, and instead of displaying this, we can do area of square, And now whenever we need area of square, we can go back to this, and we can do again in here for the area of a circle, we can do area of circle equal to whatever this calculation is right here. We'll put it right here, semicolon, and then we can use area of circle right in here. Now to see the difference, we can do cout. The difference is the area of square minus area of circle, and you can do end line right here and semicolon, and let's see what that gives us. Control F5 and let's go ahead and do 100.5 and enter. The difference is 21.6754. So let's go ahead and see that. Let's go ahead and open the calculator, calc, and see if that is true. 1.1.003 minus 79.3271, and let's go ahead and see, which is true, 21.6759. It is right, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. Close it and close this. Now let's check what else do we need to do. Now we need to do cube volume round down and cube volume round up. Now when it says round up and down, it means that the centimeter that we got right in here, it will be rounded up and it will be rounded down. So what we will need to do is, actually let's put two end lines right in here, semicolon. Okay, let's do cout. The cube, what did it actually say? It said the volume round, cube volume rounded up. Now this is for up, and we would show it. To do a cube volume, you do the three sides times each other. So we will do right in here. Let's go ahead and do we can do cube comma cube vol equals 0.0f. Alright, now in here we can do cube val equal cm times cm times cm, and then now we can do semicolon. Cube volume, my bad, I spelled that wrong. So for all of this, don't we need to round it up as we said before? So to round it up, we can do the function ceil. Ceil is going to be open to us right in here, and then we can put one integer in it. We can see the other ones. We can do long double, we can do a float, and we can do a double. We cannot do integers just because integers are already whole numbers. So let's go ahead and do the ceiling, and let's close it, and we have to include another library. So let's go ahead and control F5 and see what happens. Let's do cm, let's do 100.5, and we didn't display it, it didn't give us any errors. So let's go ahead and include the library for it, include C math. That's what I've been taught with, but it doesn't seem to give us any errors. That's good, that's not bad, but we will see if it should. And actually we have this in here and we don't have a semicolon, so I'm not sure why it's not giving us any errors. Let's go ahead and do cube vol, and now it will display the cube volume and end line and semicolon. Now in here under it, let's do cout cube volume rounded down, and we do cube vol and end line. Now in here we can copy this and do it in here, but instead of doing ceil stands for ceiling. So if there's a number 10.5, it will go to the ceiling of it, which is 11. Otherwise we can use floor. Floor is, if it's 10.5, it will go down, which is to 10, or 10, it would go to 10, yeah, it would finish to 10. That's correct. So floor, and it would display floor. So let's go ahead and do that. Control F5 and let's see. 10.5, and let's see what happens here. Now in this one 11.1158, and in this one it's 1157. One rounded up, one rounded down. So let's go ahead and see again what happened in here. Line by line, let's close it and put a dot right in here. F5, and let's see what's gonna happen. Let's make this smaller actually, and let's drag this to the right. Okay, now we are in line 10. It will display geometry formulas by the name F10. There it is. Or you can press this button right here. Let's go ahead and do F10 again, and now it will ask us for a number, and here it is. Let's do 100.5, enter. Now centimeters is 100.5 right in here. There it is. Divided by a 100, and it will show us in here because it's line 16. F10, there it is. 100.5 for centimeters, 1.005 for meters. So let's go ahead and do area of square, centimeter times centimeter divided by 100. Let's go ahead and do that. It will now display it, area of square, and r equals centimeters divided by 2. So we have r here, and to the power of this r to the power of 2. Let's go ahead and do that. Now it will display it, which is this number. There it is. The difference is this number minus this number. There it is. And now it would do cube volume, which is the ceiling of all these numbers, which should be, this is 100.5, this is 200.1, this is 300.15, yeah. And now it's a different number. Now same thing with this one, it's a different number. Let's go ahead and close it. Okay, and close this one. And let's go ahead and run it and do 100.5. Okay, let's do a 10.5. It seems to be taking 10.5 just fine, but when it's doing three numbers together, it's not doing them right. I'm not sure why is that, but let me see if I can fix it by doing this thing right here. Cout fixed 100.5, and here we go. So fixed it. The fixed would show all the points, which is a nice thing about the math library, and it comes from iomanip. This fixed right here, I think it comes from iomanip, but I'm not sure. The iomanip library is to manipulate the output for you, which I will be doing another tutorial on. But if you have large numbers that are showing like e to e's number, just a large number right by the letter e, you will do fixed, and fixed will fix the numbers and show them this way, just exactly how they are. So let's go ahead and press enter. And this is the end of the tutorial. I hope you found this helpful, and if you have any questions, go ahead and ask on my YouTube channel or on my on the website nddevelopment.co. And if I'm talking too fast or not showing something in a clear way, please let me know, and thank you for watching.